Welcome back to the party. Today we are discussing Solange's fourth studio album, When I Get Home. Hey guys, I'm Julesy. This channel is all about creating a critical dialogue and engaging discussion that meets at the intersection of pop culture and political history. We like facts on this side over here. So be sure to subscribe if you are new, hit that bell for notification, and of course thumbs up the video because all these things help. But most importantly, comment along because this is a discussion, a dialogue, a key, and it's supposed to be respectful, enlightening, illuminating. Go talk to your friends about this. Share, girl. Let's get it. So obviously, this review is not just late. It's like very late. But I feel like a late review is actually very appropriate for this album because When I Get Home, for me, is definitely a rhythmic meditation. When we invoke that music or a song is a meditation, I think most of us tend to think of like a downbeat. And interestingly enough, I find When I Get Home to be up-tempo, a bop, an up-tempo bop in ways that a seat at the table is not. Solange loves to dance hard as hell no matter the tempo of her song. She be jamming and milli rocking and dropping it low and twerking no matter the tempo of her song. Shaking all 30 inches of her bundles like, yes sis. She really does make it look euphoric. And when I saw her live show for the True album, I kept thinking I wasn't really high enough to meet her vibe. Because to me, her last two albums were more slow-tempoed, robust R&B albums. And When I Get Home is a meditative like, hey, like I'm meditating, but hey, am I making sense here? I don't know. I mean, it is niche to say, it's the niche thing to say that it's a meditation on Blackness. And it definitely is in the frame of like a very free jazz vibe. I mean, it's kind of weird to suggest that there is a tradition of free jazz because the whole concept of free jazz is like to kind of break down traditional mores and constructs of music. But yeah, this is more of like an evolution of free jazz in a pop music context. So free jazz is a style of jazz that breaks down standard jazz convention, like chord progression, tempo, time signatures. So if you ever take a jazz lesson for any instrument, you start by learning your chords. I grew up playing the flute. I haven't played it in years. I did take some jazz lessons because I wanted to be like a Bobby Humphrey, a Hubert Laws. I wanted to... What did I see? I think I was like in 3rd or 4th grade and we watched like a Benny Goodman movie or something. And I was like, oh, I want to be in a big band. Like I want to do that with the flute. And my hating ass band teacher at Cab Calloway School of the Arts was like, no bitch. Blocking all my suburban ambitions. But I did end up going downtown Wilmington to take lessons at the Cultural Center. But learning about all the chords and grace notes and progressions because that was the foundation. So free jazz in the vein of Sun Ra and some of Alice Coltrane's later work is definitely the vibes that I'm getting from When I Get Home. And much like Alice Coltrane's free jazz style albums, it was hard for me to sit down, listen to the album all the way through, like straight through, and then remember like what I just heard. Now that doesn't make the album bad or not good. It does kind of push you out of how you're used to consuming music, right? And I love Alice Coltrane and all her free jazz. It helps. Anxiety attack, we put Coltrane on, okay? Alice, not John. And so it does all kind of run together, and it's just not the same sort of construct of a standard. And we say pop, not to say like traditional pop, but that all music in the mainstream canon of today kind of fits into like a 4/4 pop time signature. And this album disrupts that. Again, it's not to say that Solange or Alice Coltrane's music is not good or that I don't enjoy the listening experience, but the structure is so non-orthodox that it doesn't sonically sink in the same way that an album that follows more traditional music conventions does. And that's kind of exactly where I actually land with When I Get Home. The transitions, the melodies, the chord progressions are purposefully irreverent. And it does force us to consume the album differently. Even in its irreverence, even in its experimenting, it still is definitely an album that can get played in the club without remixing or layering in ways that A Seat at the Table could not. You know, I like a good free jazz twerk. Thank you, Solange. Where A Seat at the Table has very traditional R&B influences. So you definitely can hear Minnie Riperton, Raphael Sadiq, Tweet, Denise Williams, Stevie Wonder, and A Key of Life. You definitely get all those feels and, on the album. Where When I Get Home is more galactic, though very sonically black. And obviously with the packaging and the way that Solange has promoted and performed the album, it is absolutely an ode to blackness. With influences like the Affirmation Sun Ra, Alice Coltrane, Womack and Womack, who else? And oh, what's the Stevie Wonder album? I think it's interesting that she's like, I could take, Stevie Wonder is so influential across music in general and has had so many styles that I don't think we really discuss, that I think I could say, A Seat at the Table is this type of Stevie Wonder, and When I Get Home is more of like Stevie Wonder's Fulfillingness First album, I want to say. That's the vibe I was getting. I definitely think When I Get Home is an album that a lot of us, myself included, might have, the knee-jerk reaction was to kind of dismiss it upon first listen, because it does all kind of just blend together. The beginning and the end of each song aren't necessarily poignantly clear. I think over time, it just kind of seeps into you. It forces you to leave behind expectations and your attachment to pop music norms and conventions, and to really be patient. And with the film accompanying the album, which you can now entirely view on YouTube, shout out to Solange for that, I love the visual commitment to uplifting Black American culture, and more precisely working class and poor Black American culture, as what we could say, hood aesthetics. I love it. Black lip liner, door knockers, twerking, Black strippers and Black cowboys, the yeehaw agenda all up and down in it. I was like, they really shot, was it Benz? No, Benz is the collage. Which one she's outside of Dallas City Hall? I was like, girl, you can literally see my apartment in the background. Why ain't you doing when I was living there? What happened? Low-key, I think I was still living in Dallas when they did that, and I just wasn't up at 2 o'clock in the morning when they were recording it. But I love the doobie wraps and the styles that every girl named Katrina had in 1993 that are featured. I definitely think that there might be a think piece to be written, though, about how Solange elevates Black culture, though most of her performances are only accessible to elite white audiences. I do think she does very carefully and thoughtfully uplift all classes of Black culture. But it's just, there's some sort of commentary, there's some sort of thing about the fact that she does largely end up performing for an elite white audience. And I personally do wish her shows were a bit more accessible, but it's kind of like, you have to charge something like that to the game because artists don't really have a whole lot of control over that. When I Get Home is such a lovely album, and I really have grown to appreciate it even more over time. It just is an album that keeps getting better and better and better, and it fits every mood. It's like you going through some shit, you trying to get over it. You going through some shit, you want a moment to sulk, got you trying to get over it, got you done grew back your edges and your eyebrows is on fleek, got you too, you wearing less and going out more, got you on that, you with the girls having a moment, getting your Reiki and chakras together, crystals enlightened and shit. She got you on all that. And besides that, Benz is absolutely my shit. Deuces.